Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast.
Live. Here we go.
Today, Tim and I are wearing shorts because it's very hot.
Are we wearing shorts? Who's to
You
say?
all never see us from below the waist. Usually it's jeans or sometimes it's sweatpants. But today it's shorts, running shorts for me, for both of us. Because let's see, 2 days ago, there was a frost and there was snow on the ground. And today we wake up and it's 80 humid degrees in the house. I have sweatpants on getting ready to do this and I'm like sweating. I'm like, I can't do the podcast with these sweatpants on. I got to put shorts on.
Chicago in
Okay.
springtime.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
As I know, many of you in other parts of the country and the world deal with the same types of weather climate that we do. So it's all good though. We're getting into spring. So we're very happy about that.
Do we call each other? We're both wearing black. How'd that
I
happen?
know. And also, for those of you who are on YouTube, can you please tell me if you think my hair looks like Teresa Caputo's from Long Island Medium? Because
Wow.
I got my hair highlighted yesterday. I love my person. Her highlights are great, and she'll cut my hair, but I hate the way she styles it. And I need to let her know because I tolerate it. Usually when you leave the salon, you want to look like you feel good, like you feel pretty. Not me. I'm embarrassed, and she blew my hair out yesterday and made my hair so big. I'm looking in the mirror with that stupid thing they put around your neck, the hair cutting gown that chokes your neck. I mean, any woman who's listening to this knows what I'm talking about. You look at yourself in the salon mirror and you think to yourself, wow, have I always been this ugly? And I actually had makeup on and I was seeing clients yesterday before I went there. I'm like, I thought I looked okay today. And you have that thing on and the salon lights. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks this is so unattractive. And then she blows out my hair and makes it huge, like I'm an Italian from Long Island. I'm looking at myself in the mirror going, I look like Teresa Caputo. Love Teresa Caputo. Think she's a cool medium. Used to watch her show. I don't want that hair. Have you seen her hair? It's big hair. Anyways, I calmed it down, curled it a little. But if you all are on YouTube, can you please tell me if you think I look like the Long Island medium?
There's a lot there to unpack.
So
I'm still trying to figure out what the thing is that you're referring to around your neck.
whenever you get your haircut, Tim, your kids get them. They put it in the children's. You put the gown, but it's really tight around your neck, and it's
like a tuxedo shirt of some kind.
It's so not attractive. Anyways, we were talking about this before we started recording, and I'm still on because I had to curl my hair this morning to bring down the bigness. Anyways, on to the episode. So today we're talking about something I talk about all the time in coaching, and I realized that I haven't specifically brought it up here on the pod, and it's the whole topic of subject of discernment. So discerning big decisions or even little decisions in your life. So it's something that I will say to coaching clients, and we go through a process together of discerning how to make decisions and what decision is right for my client. And it comes for me, it really comes from my background growing up Catholic. That was a big thing I heard about a lot, especially my older years, probably in my 20s, was my mother would say, pray for discernment. So that was from a spiritual perspective. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you discern this decision in your life. So that was a Christian Catholic spiritual perspective. And I use it all the time. And I'll say it with my kids too. I will tell them, pray for discernment. And sometimes I'll coach them up and go through discernment practice with them to help them decide when they've had big things going on in their lives. I probably have done it with you a little bit as well.
Sure.
So it's one that I want to talk about for all of you today. So this is important. And if you don't know how to do it, we're going to go through it real quickly. So I could spend hours upon hours talking about the different ways of discerning and the research behind it and the science behind it. But I will completely bore you because it even sometimes bores me. But I want to give you the 4 takeaways to bring with you. Okay. So all of you can learn even better how to discern for yourself what's right for you in your life. Let's start with, what is it? What's discernment?
It's deep contemplation for me. Really digging into like pros and cons in a scenario, I guess, of a very important decision to be made. It's a lot of careful thought given to it, uninterrupted. For me, it's going to a quiet place to find that however you want to, getting away from disruption.
Yeah. Okay.
And
It's a good start.
yeah, and just kind of absorbing myself into the entire story of what we're talking about, the decision to be made, and like, what does it look like if I turn left? What does it look like if I turn right?
You do a pros and cons list quite a bit.
Yeah.
That I know about because we'll talk out loud, and I hear you talking out loud and thinking out loud about it.
Yeah.
All right. So let me start by giving a working definition of what discernment is. And when I was doing my research on this, this is actually the one I'm talking about today because I think it's a really good one. So, discernment, it's the capacity to perceive, interpret, and choose the wisest course of action amid complexity or ambiguity. I love that. I love that. It's very well said. So, discernment sits at the intersection of clear perception. So, clear perception is actually seeing what is, value clarity, that is knowing what matters, and sound judgment. And that is acting in alignment with both of those, acting in alignment with perception and clarity. Okay. So, where mere air quote decision making can be mechanistic, discernment is deeply qualitative. So, it weighs the nuances, the motives, and long term consequences, not just the surface data.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
I thought they did a good job
Yeah.
when I was doing my work on this. So, where are times, can you specifically think about a time in your life? And I want all of you who are watching or listening to think about a time in your life when you were needing to make a decision. As you think about it now, maybe you'll say, oh, yeah, I was discerning a decision in my life.
When the word discern comes up, like for me, it's a life altering potentially decision that I'm facing. It's got consequences both ways, benefits and not so good things. I've had moments where it's like, okay, there's a Y in the road of like what to do with my career. If I go this way or stay the course, I understand, or I can determine what I think I understand is the future of that. If I decide to make a turn off of my current course and go a different direction, I don't know exactly what that's going to present, but I can consider what it could possibly represent for me, right? But then it's like a matter of like, all right, now that's when I get into my whole pros and cons thing. Stay the course, pros, cons of that. Take a turn, pros, cons of that. Let's analyze those together.
I'm trying to think of myself. I have also discerned throughout my life big decisions. Some of them have taken me a year or two. Some of the really big ones, like deciding to leave my hospital work when I was working back in 90 or 25 years ago, discerning to start my own private practice. That was a big, big leap for me because when you work in a hospital, I was working in eating disorders at the time. And you just see the patients that come into the unit. And I was the family therapist, as many of you already know. And your patients are coming into the hospital. I'm not doing anything where the referrals are coming through. The team of therapists, we just get told who we're seeing. You get that patient, you get that patient. You're running that group, you're running that group. It's pretty mindless. You show up to work each week and you know your job. You know what groups you run, you know what patient you've been assigned to, and that's it. And when I worked on all the different floors in hospital, now it's medical, you just saw the patients that needed mental and emotional and psychological help. Those are the people you saw. And it was a salaried position and it was not great. The balance for me at that time was, well, it's a paycheck every 2 weeks and it's a no-brainer. And you just have to show up and do your job and do a good job, be great, give it your all. And that's it. You didn't have to work to bring in clients. I spent 2 years discerning if I was going to leave the hospital work and start my own private practice. And
all the comfort of that, the consistency,
and the predictability of it. I know I didn't love the money. It wasn't great. They don't ever pay people in the mental health field a lot of money in hospital systems because we're not a revenue producing department. We don't bring in money for the hospitals because they are corporations, they are businesses, and they don't pay their staff. We're nowhere near paid with the medical floors. And of course, the doctors are paid, the MDs. We're not. Even I don't think the psychiatrists make anywhere near what the cardiologists, part of me totally understands it, the oncologists make. But I got a little tired as the years went by and my expertise went up. I got a little tired of my low paycheck. It wasn't even like a cost of living raise you get every year. I mean, you just could barely, like, oh my gosh, I can't keep doing this, or I'm going to have to supplement my income.
The gap was too big. You have a team that's getting paid way up here, and then there's middle ground, and then there's the perception that you're down here, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm paying for childcare. My husband and I, at that time, Tim's second marriage. So at that time, with my first husband, we would talk about what's the point of you working? How much is this going towards paying? We had a nanny, then daycare. how much is it worth it? Because the whole paycheck for me was going to paying for a nanny. And it was really just about my desire to want to keep my license up, to stay professional. I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to do both. I'd worked very hard for my graduate degree. I wanted to use the skills and my knowledge. So part of it was about really kind of just me and what I desired. And so that's a move. But then as the years go by, like you said, you start to think, come on, I mean, is this worth it? I knew that I could make much better money on my own private practice, but it was a risk. So I spent 2 years discerning. And the way that I did that was I spent a lot of think time. I don't even know what other way to say it, but it's a lot of time thinking about, and it's going through for me the pros and cons. But for me, it was processing verbally, thinking and then verbally processing. I would talk to other therapists who had done it. I would talk to friends. I talked to my family members about this is what it's going to look like, and talking about my fear or my insecurities about doing it. There were two people, and this is going to come up later in this episode. There were two people that I went to for consultation. One was my consultant, who I started seeing because I needed more supervision and more consultation working with my patients in the unit because I was not getting it. I felt the weight and the heaviness of the work that I was doing, and I knew I needed to be Johnny on the spot with my knowledge. I just needed to know more and to have more guidance in working with this pretty intense patient population at the time. I went to her because she had a very successful private practice. And then I went to another colleague of mine that I worked with in the unit who also had had a successful practice in another state before she had moved to Chicagoland area. And she was wonderful, and she really helped me discern. And when you're discerning, the people that you go to, they're not people that you want really give you their opinions or their advice. I wasn't looking for advice. Maybe from time to time they would give me their opinion. Discernment is about looking for others to help you think through your thought process. That's really important. So those two people were key for me in helping me decide and finally rip the Band-Aid off the decision. There was something inside of me that kept nagging away at me, telling me, you need to do this. You need to do this. And that's the intuition piece that's going to come into this. But it's not all intuition. And I'm all about intuition. But when it comes to discernment, it's not all about intuition. And I'm going to be a disruptor for many people in the coaching space. There are actually intuition coaches out there. I don't think it's all intuition. Like I said, I'm all about listening to your gut. But you can't just listen to your gut when you're discerning a big life decision. Like for me, starting really a new business, starting a small business, becoming an entrepreneur, it was loaded. It wasn't just about becoming a staff worker in a hospital to going to something equal outside of the hospital. It was becoming a staff worker to starting my own small business. That was huge.
Yeah.
I was at the payoffs or the negatives could be that I would have no clients who in my office, and I'd be sitting there twiddling my thumbs each week and have no money coming in because I wasn't seeing people. So it was a big, scary decision.
Totally.
That's a big one that I went through many, many years ago. But I've realized over the years, I don't always take the time with the micro decisions in my life to discern well. Doing research for today's episode has been really good for me to go back to remembering to discern with the smaller decisions. The people pleaser in me that does come out from time to time, less and less as the years have gone by, but it's still in me because I want to be a go along and get along kind of gal. It just is ingrained in me. And I want to help people out. I want to go there and do that for you. I want to be of service. I have a servant's heart. It's why I went to the field that I went into. And I have overextended myself over the many, many years where I've given talks for free and I've done a lot of volunteering, but I overextended myself with volunteering. And I have given my sliding fee scale for many, many people. And I'm thinking, this is insane. I'm not making any money here because I want to be able to see all the people. And I don't do this anymore. And I'm really have lots of clarity within myself around this, where I would see people at a much reduced price or, I was doing that a lot because I wanted to be able to see them and they needed the help. And I figured out ways to help those clients without me seeing them because they couldn't pay me my fee. So I'd send them to really great community mental health centers that I knew about, that I knew were good, that a lot of people in the lay public wouldn't know about. So I found a way to do it. But I've had to work on that even more. So because what I found is that I'm like knee-jerk, yes, I'll do it. The question was, Anna, what do you really want here? And when I have sat back and really spent time thinking about, you want to be of service to them, you want to help them, You have to go through it. What's the time commitment? What's the energy output for you? All the different things that I go through with my coaching clients that are my private clients, we go through a whole list of ways to discern what is best for them. So we don't have the time to get into that. So if you work with me as a coaching client, you're going to get all of that. But I'm going to give you 4 really good ways, exercises for you all to start discerning today. But what I have found was that I need to discern in the little things in life. And taking back unto myself has been really good for my mental energy.
And is it safe to say, like, discerning the little things? Like, I would assume that there has to also be consideration to discerning efficiently. If it's a smaller decision, you don't want to land in a point of pause for weeks, months, because, right, you can't decide,
Right.
maybe it's this, maybe it's that. It's a smaller decision. Yeah, I need to really give it some consideration, and I need to make that decision.
Sometimes you need to make a decision on the fly. I get texts where people will ask me to do something, or even it's just to get together and it's really not the right time for me. I'm just too crazy busy. Somebody wants to meet for coffee. I'm like, I can, and it's going to completely stretch me thin with my daily schedule to do that in that week. So can we do Zoom instead? Can you meet me halfway for this meeting rather than me driving all the way right to you? Because we're going to your office, which is like literally you could walk from your home to your office, but I'm driving all the way. I would do that a lot.
Yeah.
And as the time has gone by, I've started to take back that's discernment of, okay. And it's also your assertiveness skills have to come in here where you need to learn to find a way to communicate in an assertive way. Now, I don't like it when people say that doesn't work for me because it just seems so selfish. But you can think it on the inside because I do. Like, that doesn't work for me. Let me figure out a way where we can meet each other halfway. I've stopped speaking for free. I did that, during COVID, I was doing it. And where did that get me? It just got me resentful. If anybody is a public speaker here, you know the work that goes into speaking. It is hours and hours and hours of crafting and cultivating a really fantastic talk or speech. And to do that for free, I was doing it and I said, no more. I will never do that again.
Yeah.
I wasn't discerning. I was saying, sure, I'll do it. Sure, I'll do it. I've got the time. It's COVID. I need the money, but I won't take the money. I'll do it for free for all of you. I'll do your lunch and learn with 300 people on the Zoom. I'll do your continuing education for 45 minutes. No, you don't have to pay me a thing.
Yeah.
Did I get clients from it? No. Was there anything that I got out of it? Did they post it on social media for me? No. Because oftentimes what we will say in the speaking field is, well, what are you getting from it? If you're going to get like all kinds of FaceTime or you're going to get your name out there on, I don't know, LinkedIn or TikTok or something, then it might be worth it for you. That's something that each speaker has to take into consideration. You're going to maybe get clients from it.
There's takeaways.
There's takeaways, right? That are not monetarily based.
There's experience.
Right. And so there was experience that I got, but I didn't need it so much at that point in my career. And I didn't get anything from it. But I would say, yes, yes. And so what I've started to do last 3 years now is I don't speak for free anymore. So this is my discernment. And this is a decision that came from my discerning what was best for me.
Yeah. What you were discerning was the aspect of time. Mm-hmm. Right? You weren't like
mental energy.
Yeah, it didn't really have anything to do with the company. It didn't matter who would ask you at all. Right. And even like a client, like, hey, can we meet halfway? It wasn't really about the client. It was about your time.
Right.
Which is probably what you had to have moments of discernment about before you got to the point where you're like, you know what, going forward in these scenarios where I'm being asked to do this or this or this,
right,
I'm going to always lean this way. Because time is more important to me, right?
Yes.
My time is more important.
And mental energy was really the most important thing.
Yeah.
Mental energy, number one, time, number two. And so I'm giving you all that example because those were kind of the smaller things in my life in the last 10 years where I wasn't discerning very well. I got away from it and I was just making a snap decision. And then after, and I know you all can relate to this, you go, what have I gotten myself into? What am I doing? I don't really want to do this. I don't want to do it. Why did I take that job offer? Why did I move here? How did I get in this relationship? Like, the kids have had discernment topics that have come up for them, our 5 adult kids, where it's like what job to take, where to move, what school to go to. That's discernment. What college, what graduate school to go to. The big one has been, I'm in a relationship, a romantic relationship. I've talked to my kids about discerning, is this the relationship you want to be in? And that is a hard one. And I see their hearts breaking a little bit when I'm seeing them moving in the direction of having to do the tough work of a breakup. Do I want to be living with this person anymore? Part of me is saying no, but part of me is saying yes. And that's what you've got to discern.
Right.
Okay. I'm going to give you 4 micro exercises to start with today. You can do this on your own. So you don't need to be coached on this. All right. If you're working with me, by the way, if you want to work with me, you know where to find me. hello@annamarcolin.com. Let's get on a call together. Come talk to me. Okay. I will work you through this in much more detail and much more nuance for you in your life. Please know that I'm available. It's me that you're getting. Sometimes you'll get my assistant Blake, but we're talking all the time. Let's get to know each other. Okay. The AG1 you've heard me talking about for so long just went through a major upgrade. AG1's Next Gen is here. So what is Next Gen? It is a daily health drink clinically shown to support gut health and close common nutrient gaps, even in the healthiest of eaters. With 5 new probiotic strains and additional vitamins and minerals, AG1 Next Gen represents the biggest step forward for daily foundational nutrition. 1 scoop in the morning with 8 to 12 ounces of cold water adds up to whole body health from vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and whole food sourced ingredients. AG1's Next Gen is now one of the most clinically backed greens powders. Can you believe it? They went above and beyond the industry standard in testing and have made a great product even better. AG1, it's been a game changer for me for my mornings. It sets the tone for my day, helps me feel my best, and I genuinely look forward to drinking it in the morning. Now clinically backed with an advanced formula, this is a perfect time to try AG1 if you haven't already. I've been drinking AG1 for more than 5 years now, and I'm so happy that I am partnering with them. So subscribe today to get the Next Gen of AG1. If you use my link, you're also going to get a free bottle of AG D3K2, an AG1 welcome kit, and 5 of the upgraded AG1 travel packs with your first order. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/Anna to get started with AG1's Next Gen and notice the benefits for yourself. That's drinkag1.com/Anna. So let's start with these micro exercises that you can do today. You got an issue in your life, and this is going to help you. Number 1, I want you to do daily discernment, and that's going to be by journaling. All right. And I know so many of you may say or be thinking to yourself, I don't want to journal. I don't want to journal. I know, I get it. I'm not a lover of journaling either. And I know it helps. And I know it works. I said this before on here. There's research behind it, just like there's really good research behind meditation. Spend 5 minutes doing a daily discernment journal. I want you to note one small decision that you have made for yourself. One small decision. Think about that. I want you to write down for yourself the observed data. Observe your own data around how you came to that decision. I want you to write about the emotions you felt when you were making that decision. I want you to think about your values. What values were at stake for you? For my coaching clients, everybody knows what their values are. So you all need to know what your values are. You can find ways of doing that on your own. All right. I think I've talked about it before on other episodes of the podcast. Know your values, and then you're going to pull in what are the values that are at stake here for me? My personal values. You've got personal and you've got professional ones. I want you to think back to the action that you chose to take. So go back and think about a decision that you took. What was the observed data? That's the data around it. The emotions you felt, the values that were at stake for you, and your chosen action. That's what I want you to journal. This is a specific journal prompt. Close the journal, walk away. 5 weeks, a week later, 5 days, 7 days later, a week later, I want you to revisit it. And I want you to look back at it, and I want you to think about what worked and what didn't work.
I think one challenge for some people is going to be to decide the gravity of this decision that's on the table. Like, how big is this? Quantifies as being
a small decision. Because I want you to start little.
Yeah.
All right. For me, it was saying no to speaking for free. I'm going to give you an example of that being mine. Maybe yours would be a smaller decision of deciding to take on more triathlon or swimming clients because that's your side hustle and you're busy with it, but it's not your main career. You do that on the
Yeah.
side. So maybe a small discernment is, do I take on a fifth client? So now I'm working till 9 o'clock at night. Maybe that's one for you.
That could be it.
Yeah.
Because there are things that fall out positively and negatively from
Right.
that decision.
So that's what I want you all to discern. So I want all of you to think about something in your life. Maybe it's moving from one side of town to another because there's things about your condo, your apartment you like right now. So I want you to discern that. I want you to journal about it. So that's daily discernment. Number 2, decision speed bumps. All right. So I want you to insert a 24-hour pause before committing to anything high stakes. Money, relationships, PR statements, public relations statements. I put that in there. 24-hour pause. Many of you already know to do this, and this is one that I would have you all keep. You do it. I do it. Many of us do it, especially when it comes to accepting a job offer. You ask for 24 hours, and I think we're also used to this. Employers, most people say, yeah, no problem. Take your time. Let us know in 24 hours, though.
Yeah.
We do need you to let us know, okay? And I want you to use that 24-hour window to gather one piece of disconfirming evidence. So insert the 24-hour pause before making a decision. And this is more high stakes. So I'm going to say it's about being in a relationship. Many people, it's about money or the potential to make more money and around jobs and careers. And I want you to use that 24-hour window to gather one piece of disconfirming evidence that goes against the decision that you might be making.
So an item that I would put on the con list is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right. Number 3. Now you're going to have to stand up for this. We're going to do this exercise. You're going to do somatic yes or no drill. I love this. So a few weeks ago, we talked about somatic theory, somatic therapies that are out there, the vasovagal, the polyvagal theory. We talked about where issues, trauma comes up in the body or the stress comes up in the body. We're going to do it now. If you can come and watch on YouTube, come and watch this, okay? And if not, come back later because if you're driving, you're out and you can't do this, of course. So just listen, all right?
Okay.
So I want you to stand up.
You want me to stand up?
Yes.
I
can stand up
too. Do I need a
also.
microphone for this or I do?
Yes, you need your microphone. We're going to stand up. You have to stand up. This is how I learned it.
All right.
Close your eyes. Now, I want you to recall a wholehearted yes memory in your mind, and I want you to observe your body. So think of a memory where you said yes to something wholeheartedly. Observe your body sensation. Where is it? Okay, you got that? Do you have one, Tim?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Now we're going to do this. Open your eyes up. Okay. Now we're going to do one for no. All right. Close your eyes. I want you to recall a wholehearted no memory. Observe it in your body. Okay. Okay, sit down. I want you all to do this, okay? This is really important. Can you share the yes memory?
The actual memory?
Yeah, let's talk about real quickly the yes memory. What was it for you? And I want you all thinking about this. Thinking about your memory when you made it a wholehearted yes, I want to do that. Yes.
So for me, I thought it was just deciding to accept a new job, my most recent position. There was a lot of back and forth, a lot of discernment, a lot of pros and cons to the moment when I was like, press go. Like, so that was
They
yes.
gave you the offer.
Yeah.
You didn't go back and forth too much. They gave you the offer and you said yes.
Correct.
So it was a wholehearted yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you feel it in your body? Your entire body? Did you feel something when you remembered that yes memory?
I kind of felt like I exhaled a little bit. I almost felt like I shrunk. Like I was like,
you relaxed.
That's comfortable. I felt like this is a good feeling.
It's like in your thoracic area, maybe your chest.
My whole core just like kind of just, okay, this is good. Like, and I truly did exhale. Like I was like, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
It's cool.
That was good.
We're
feeling.
good. I'm good. I'm good. Okay. And tell me what the no. And if you want to share what the wholehearted no memory was.
Yeah.
And where you felt it in your body.
And I picked this because I chose no and then realized down the road that I should have chose yes.
Oh.
It wasn't like a good no. I mean, in the moment, I thought it was a good no. And that's why I think I picked it and it like made me feel or do what I did. It was an option to buy into this particular stock. I did all my homework and then I was at the end of the process of deciding. And I can't remember exactly what threw it over the edge of going into the no category, but I did. I went into no. And at the very moment, I felt like, that's a great decision. Later on, I watched that stock do what it did. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I kind of like tightened up my head, got like, because I was like, oh,
You wrinkled your face.
like angry eyes, like Mr.
Yeah.
Potato Head. I was like, oh, like this. And I was like, that's just a bad feeling.
Oh,
Bad
so in the
decision.
beginning, you gave it a wholehearted no.
I gave it a wholehearted no to do it. And then I realized that it should have been a yes.
Okay, so
later.
you discerned a no.
Yeah.
And that's not a great example. But
Well, but it could go that way, right?
We talk about stocks, and at the same, which is a gamble, and at the same time, it is a good example because it shows the imperfection of this, and that it takes time to do this. That's why when I go back to my earlier years, when I've had spiritual mentors around me say to me, discernment is a gift. I've always heard that discernment's a gift. Discernment's a gift, and now you see why, because it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard to take the time to do it. So for me, my wholehearted no is example I gave at the beginning where I said, I will no longer speak for free. That was a wholehearted no because I'd kind of been bitten in the butt, as I spoke about, for years prior. And that was a wholehearted no. And for me, what that felt like that was my deep breath. I felt my shoulders go back a little bit. I felt clarity in my mind. I felt just good because whenever I had I thought I discerned something. And then later I thought, and this is my intuition came in because intuition is a big part of this. Because I always say to my clients, listen to your gut, but that's not the whole thing. Listen to your gut. I didn't have that feeling in my gut, like, why did you do that? Why did you say yes? Why did you say you would do it? I've done this so many times in my life.
Yeah.
So this time my wholehearted no was no, which was really my yes. So here's a time in my life when I gave it a wholehearted no. This is a hard one because it's like no to having more friends, but I know that sounds terrible on the surface because what that meant for me in my life was busyness and more commitments and obligations. And so I made a wholehearted no to doing more.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I've realized that it's not more friends, it's the lower number of friends and it's the quality of the friendships versus always having networking groups and lots of acquaintances and very periphery friendships. So I made a wholehearted no to that. And that was the relief in my body that you talked about, where I was like, oh, it's just a deep breath. For me, it's the shoulders coming down.
Yeah.
This is a really big one. I want you to pay attention to when you say a yes memory in your life, what did that feel like to you in your body? And when you've had a no memory, stand up, close your eyes, remember that no memory. Where do you feel in your body? When you are faced with a gray decision, you don't really know what to do. You're not sure. This is the discernment phase. I want you to compare those bodily signals. So spend some time doing this. It can help you flag misalignment when you might miss something cognitively in your brain and your thinking. So the body can help us flag that misalignment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I do a lot of body stuff together. I know that when I talk about this on the podcast, it's new for you. I've been doing this forever in psychotherapy.
Yeah.
But it's new for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Is it weird?
No, it's not weird.
Oh, okay.
No, because I've done like meditation stuff. A lot of times at work, we'll jump into like a peaceful meditation where there's a little bit of body, there's slight movement with it. When I first get into it, I'm like, this is weird as heck. Like, what are we doing? I will embrace it. Like, I'll give myself a second to get over that little moment. But then
you're not a big meditator.
No, but then
Tim is the opposite of me, everybody, as you haven't known by now. That's why you're a good person to have a podcast, because he's not a therapist. He's not a meditator. He doesn't do all the body stuff like I do. And I preach and teach all week long. You're like the opposite of me in many ways, although you're open to all of this, which is great.
Yeah. No, I will embrace all of those things, because I'm just thinking like the listener out there right now probably was like me about 3 minutes ago, where it's like you're deciding between yes or no. And I think instinctively we think the word no, we interpret that as negative, and it's not. It's not negative. You didn't pick a no answer for a scenario that you needed to decide on, and no is a bad thing, right? No can be a great thing.
It could be a great thing because we'll go on to the last piece, but I want to finish with the somatic drill is what we call it. And I had this once with one of the kids where I was making a decision about something and I was talking about in the house. They were home living here at that time temporarily. And I was trying to make a decision about someone in my life and the positives and why I wanted to keep it going and keep that relationship. And one of the kids said, yeah, but like you're like all stressed out about it. You have this look on your face and you're all tense. So for me, and it was my body was saying one thing, and my mouth, my voice was saying another thing. Cognitively, I was thinking about all the reasons why I need to stay in this business relationship. But my body was high shoulders. For me, anxiety is talking about something over and over and over, like kind of sort of like perseverating, talking about over and over again, like I'm doing right now, talking fast. That was my body telling me something differently than what my mind was saying. And one of the kids that was home said, Mom, but look how you are about it. You're sending different signals.
Yeah.
And so there you go. That's another really good example.
It's like you're trying to talk yourself into it.
Yes.
And you know you shouldn't.
Exactly. Exactly. It was
Right?
like, Anna, take a beat.
Yeah.
Take a beat, walk around the block, chill out on this. Stop thinking through this whole thing. Listen to what other parts of your whole person, which is my body, mind, body, spirit, are telling you. The mind was saying something. The body and spirit were telling me something different.
Yeah.
And it ended up not going further with that relationship. It was the best decision I have made in my career, probably ever.
Yeah.
The best decision. But at that time, I was convinced it was a good one.
Yeah.
A really good one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, so these decisions, I mean, it's interesting because like all of the examples that we're sharing are pretty life-changing moments, right? Like
Yes.
pending your decision. I mean, this isn't like paper or plastic, right?
No, this
like,
is discernments are the bigger issues in our lives.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to the beginning where I'm going to say it's also the smaller ones, like the micro decisions within your business, the micro decisions within your personal life. Okay.
Yeah.
So the big ones are, should I stay in this relationship? Am I going through a divorce? Am I going through a breakup? Are we going to stop living together? But it's also the littler ones too, Tim, of do I want to continue with this friend group? I think I need to get off this work team. This is not working for me professionally. Do I want to go out Friday night? Do I want to join that golf league or do I want to join that paddle club? Think about the people in it. Those are the daily discernments and the weekly discernments.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go through it again and then we'll get to number 4. So the micro exercises that you can do today. Number 1, I want you to do daily discernment. That's your journal. All right. Go back and listen to it again if you need a reminder as to what that is. Number 2, decision speed bumps. That's the 24-hour pause on making a decision. All right. Number 3 is a somatic yes, no drill. And number 4 is, we've already talked about it, the wise counsel triad. I want you to identify 3 people in your life with complementary lenses. These are people who are visionary to you, visionaries, that are the realists, and they're the ethicists. Really, really important. You do that, you're going to be in great shape. I want you to go to the visionaries in your life, go to the realists in your life, and go to the ethicists. I have these people, and I have to say this. These people are not people that I always want to be around. They're people I have relationships with. They're not people that maybe I'd go out with and laugh and yuck it up with. They're not the people that I'm going to go for a run with, and some of them are. But these are people in my life that I have a ton of respect for their lens. And they're the ones I go to. They're not going to give me advice. They're going to give me their professional opinion sometimes and their thoughts for me. Really, really important. Okay. So I want you to run big decisions by all 3 of these different people in your life. Okay. And I want you to notice patterns in their feedback for you. Notice the patterns. Always look for the patterns. Listen to their feedback. Okay. The ethicist, that's an important person. I think a lot of us forget about the ethicist. So there's the visionary, the person who can see for you what you can't see into your future. They see it. You can't do that. There's the person who's, come on, let's be realistic about this. All right, let's talk. Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk reality for you. And then you've got the person who's looking at the ethical issues, if there are any. Are there any ethical dilemmas for you? I know your values, Tim, and I've heard you talk about them. Is there an ethical dilemma here for you around your value of family? That's a big one for you. It's your top 5. Is there an ethical dilemma? Because you're going to be making a lot more money, but you're going to be putting in 12 and 14-hour days. So is there an ethical dilemma for you around this decision you want to make? So if you get these 3 people in your life and you do these 4 drills, you're going to be in really, really good shape for discernment for yourself in your life. Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I have that team, but I think that team shifts depending
And
upon,
that's okay as the years go by.
Like, well, not just that, just like depending upon what we're talking about. Like what's the arena
I see, for your
of
personal life
yeah,
versus your professional life.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have had those people. And like I said, they're not people that they fill that role for me. And you have to respect them. You have to want their guidance in your life.
Right.
But what I have found so interesting to me is one person who is my realist does question me and coaches me up and asks me questions that are very direct questions that are hard. Like, well, why did you say that? Why did you do that? Why did you make that decision? And I'm like, okay. And they're hard questions that I don't think anybody else would ask me in my life. And I could not live without that realist in my life. They have helped me make big decisions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hope this is helpful for all of you today. We are talking about discernment. I gave you 4 micro exercises to start. And as always, now this is general. If you want to work with me, please don't hesitate. Reach out, come talk to me. Let's work together. If you're working with me, we're doing deep dives into all this, plus a lot more that I have not talked about here on the pod about how to help you discern for you in your life what is best for you. Okay. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review with 5 stars the podcast. And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Mad love.